hello to all the people who watch.
Hello. Hey James, what's up? How's it going? I'm gonna be squinting a lot today. I woke up and my eyes are so dry. I have no clue why. I mean, I am, in general, a little bit dehydrated, which should have grabbed a glass of water before I started this stream, but whatevs. But yeah, I've used eye drops like 3 times today. And I'm like, feel like I can't read things. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'm just tired. But yeah, anyways, happy Sunday. Peter, hello. How's it going? Yeah. Sunday. Was it last week? Did I stream last week? I know there was a stream that I forgot, but I think it was the week before last. Can't remember now. So much going on. When I look over here, I'm looking at a calendar because there's a calendar on the wall. Oh, wait, you can kind of see it. Yeah. So today's Sunday. My birthday's on Saturday. Pretty excited for that. Mostly because I'm going to a restaurant I've always wanted to go to. That's pretty much the main reason. So yeah, I'm going to chill and chat for a little bit. Then I might play some Fortnite. Oh yeah, I was gonna look at I gotta post that I'm live on Discord. Because I don't do a bot anymore, I just do it all myself. Let's see if can I just copy and paste this? Will this work? I don't think that'll work. Okay, yeah, the music is working. I was gonna say something and now I've already forgotten what I was gonna say. Brain blank. Yeah. Cool. I'm gonna change something because I don't like how. Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right. Oh yeah, I was gonna look at the vote, the survey for. I have to vote every time I go look in there. When are the results? So it looks like it's either Five Nights at Freddy's, Bully, or Super Mario. Oh yeah, and then God of War is 8% as well. Wow, it's like a 4-way tie. Oh, and Spyro the Dragon. I mean, I know I can just pick and choose whatever I want, but This is good to see. Good to see what people want me to play. I am back, yes. Hey, Jamie, how's it going? I had my chat covered for a second. I thought you were able to get away with it for a second. Yeah, ads these days, but I guess they pay for what people do. Yeah. So I'm just chilling. What have I been up to? Not much. I've been running. I ran outside in the rain on Wednesday. Got soaked. And then I put my shoes by a heater and accidentally melted one of my insoles, so I had to go buy new insoles. That was fun. And then on Friday, I went to the gym and I ran on the treadmill and I hit my goal for how far I wanted to run on the treadmill, like for this year. So that's exciting. I'm going to try and do it again. Lots of ties on the pole, yeah. Yep. I think I'm definitely gonna play Super Mario Brothers. I could even do it today because I have it set up. I figured it out. But opinion on the Halloween franchise, like the movies? I'm assuming I don't know if there's any other franchise of any sort called Halloween, but I think I watched the first one last year. I don't know if I've seen any of the other ones. Halloween. Is that the one with Jamie Lee Curtis, or am I getting mixed up? Friday the 13th is Jason Voorhees, right? Hey Vaughn, how's it going? Yeah, so I think I don't know if we were going through a bunch of Halloween movies and we were watching like classics last year, but I don't know if we got through all of Halloween. Last year was kind of we got distracted a lot on things because we got married, so there was a lot of other like stuff in the way, planning and stuff, but yeah, that's going to be on my list to watch more of them this year. I think I've seen almost all of the Scream movies. I don't know if I haven't seen the latest one. Or the latest two? I honestly can't remember. There's so many at this point. But one of my other things I'm doing this year is trying to watch every Tom Cruise movie. So I've just been working my way through those. But I watch all my... whenever I watch a movie, unless it's something that I've seen like a billion times before and it's not really like on any lists that I'm working through. Unless it's something that's not on a list, which most of them are, I will watch it with Erica. So Erica's like... If Erica's not around, then I'm not usually watching movies. I'm usually catching up on my like YouTube series or, you know, my guilty pleasure, which is... Curse of Oak Island. I got caught up on that last night. Better tag you once you get to watching Risky Business. Yeah, I will. Yeah, there's a few that I'm pretty excited about. I mean, I'm a big fan of all of the Mission Impossible movies. And we watched Interview with the Vampire the other day. That was so much fun. But yeah, so... what else have I been up to? So I ran 10 kilometers on the treadmill on Friday. I'm going to try again tomorrow, but I do have a little bit going on tomorrow, so we'll see if I have time. What else? I don't know. There hasn't been too much going on. You've only seen the one where Tom's running from Sandstorm. I think that is Ghost Protocol. The last one, Dead Reckoning, is really good, and I love the soundtrack from that movie. I put it on when I'm running. Do I like the band Korn? I've never really listened to... I'm not a huge metal fan, except for, like I just said, when I'm running, I do put on certain kinds of music, so I wouldn't say necessarily it's lots of metal, but I do have a playlist with some, you know... Let me see. I'll look at my playlist here. So I've got lots of Billy Talent. I've got a little bit of Metallica, Rage Against the Machine, Limp Bizkit, System of a Down, more Rage Against the Machine, Chevelle, Drowning Pool, Disturbed. I need to add more to that playlist. Korn Comes From Your City. Oh, that's cool. A few of them went to your high school. Nice. I can't say that about too many people or famous bands or whatever from my town because it's a fairly small town. But we do have Pamela Anderson. I think she went to a high school in my town, but she grew up and I think still lives near there. Not sure, actually. That's about it. I don't really know of anybody else who is from my town. I live in like Vancouver, and we got like Michael J. Fox is from the Vancouver area. Ryan Reynolds, few famous actors, because we have a bit of a film industry here. Riker, hey, how's it going? Trying to decide if I should get water or if I'm too lazy. Because I'm going to drink... Well, I said told myself I was going to fill up my water bottle, but I had to have to clean it. And I'm too lazy for that. Limp Bizkit, Drowning Pool, System of a Down, Metallica, Rage Against the Machine, and Chevelle are all great. Cool. I'm trying to get a feel for it more, but like I can't usually listen to that kind of stuff just regularly for me. It's just not my jam, but when I'm running, I'm really into it. Or if I'm working out at the gym. You think yours is stuff? Can anyone name any celebrity from Ottawa? Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe some hockey players. Right? Canucks won last night. That was exciting. But the Blackhawks haven't been doing very good, so... From what I understand. I don't pay that close of attention, but... Yeah. It's a slippery slope. One day you're listening to Metallica and Slipknot, and the next day it's brutal death metal. Oh. Well, I guess that's where I'm headed. But to be fair, on that same playlist that I have for running, I do have, like, less intense... I've got Muse, I got Supermassive Black Hole. I've got... The only song I think I will like from 30 Seconds to Mars was just The Kill. I got a little bit of Eminem. I got a Kendrick Lamar song on there. Linkin Park. But I gotta build up this playlist more because it's right now it's an hour and 36 minutes. So, I ran 10 kilometers in an hour and 12 minutes on Friday. So right now I'm just gonna focus on trying to get that a little bit faster. Justin Trudeau, does he count? Is he from Ottawa? I don't even know where he's from. Everyone always talks about how, like, he went to Vancouver and, like, taught snowboarding in Whistler. And how, like, he got that West Coast vibe. But it's so weird to me because I'm like, what's wrong with the West Coast? He's from Ottawa. Interesting. See, that's, like, how little I know about Canadian politics. I don't even know where our last Prime Minister was from. But politics these days certainly are entertaining, even in Canada, when it's usually pretty boring. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll just chill and chat. I don't really have any plans today, really. Unfortunately, it counts. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I guess I technically know some... famous-ish people, but half the time I feel like actors don't even count these days because it's like, you got TikTok stars becoming actors. They're just like, I'm not saying Canadians necessarily, but it just feels like anybody can be an actor. I'm not trying to gatekeep it or anything, but it just feels so strange. And then meanwhile you have reality TV person who's the president of the United States right now. But I guess technically the president of Ukraine was an actor. Blackhawks are the second worst team out of 32 teams. Jeez. I'm like obviously Canucks are the team that I root for because they're the closest to where I am. But and they're playing again tonight against Utah. But and I want Vancouver to get into playoffs, and right now it looks like they might. But that's only because they won last night. If they lose, I think if they lose again tonight, then I don't know if that'll change anything. I really don't know how hockey works, so they're rebuilding though, so they are understandably bad. Yeah, it was funny because last night Canucks were pretty much destroying them. It ended in with 6-2 Canucks, obviously, but there was a few like, I want to say like theatrical things that happened during the game, which was like one. A Canuck got pretty bad, like seemingly pretty badly injured by the way they were slammed into the wall by a Blackhawks player, and they were even discussing about how this player on the Blackhawks seems to be just taking out their frustration on other players because they've been losing so much. So then later, I saw the Canucks kind of acting a little bit like playing games, and like. They kind of went after I can't remember his name, Bernard. I can't remember how to say his name, but he's from Vancouver, and he was like apparently a big Canucks fan. So I've been reading online that like they were essentially like hazing him, and he's like, why me? I'm a big fan of you guys. But he's only 19. It's so crazy to see somebody like 10 years my junior, Connor Bedard, yeah. 10 years younger than me, playing hockey and like being a grown-up. Like for me, I just think my 19-year-old self, I was like, wow, I was a child at 19. Like I was so innocent. I still feel that way too. But Slab looks like he gets down with Drowning Pool before beating up nerds, probably. I actually can't remember. I do remember working with Kurt, and he was really into, at the time, it was really popular. Bedard. Okay. Bedard. Bedard. Anyways, Kurt was really into the word just left my brain. It's a style of music. It's kind of electronic, really popular in the early 2010s. Why can't I remember this name for a genre of music? Well, Skrillex, yeah, is an artist from that genre. Why am I? Dubstep. There we go. Dubstep. He was really into dubstep. But yeah. So I was listening to a bit of dubstep. Like it's been so long that since dubstep has been popular that like we've forgotten what it's called. But yeah, so I was listening to a lot of dubstep back then because he kind of introduced me to it. And I would like listen to that when I was at the gym and stuff, but it hasn't aged very well at all, for sure. Oh, so my microphone's like really sensitive today. Calm down, don't be so sensitive. So rude to my microphone. Kind of like Big Bass from the 90s, yeah. Skrillex collaborated with Korn on their 2011 album Path to Totality. Interesting. See, I'm not very well, I think I've said this a million times on stream, but I'm not very well versed in music. So I try, as an almost 29-year-old man, I'm trying to learn more. And I pay for a music streaming service. I have pretty much all music at my disposal to listen to. But yeah. Mostly the big cities represented for hockey are Vancouver and Toronto. It's interesting because I feel like Edmonton is bigger than Vancouver. But maybe that's just because historically they've won the Stanley Cup. And yeah, but in Canada, I guess Vancouver does get a lot of publicity and a lot of coverage. I'm suddenly cold. I don't know what's going on with me lately. Maybe it's just because I'm being more active and well, I don't eat very much. Not very good at eating food. Once again, in Vaughn listening to his Spotify playlist on shuffle. I've gone from Slipknot to the Sims 2 theme song. Perfect. Those two go together amazingly. Hey, I mean, like, let's see. If I put mine on shuffle, I'm not actually gonna play any music out loud, but we'll see what goes. I'll just put on like a For Me playlist, because Gig Morton Station. So we got a Exotica, Stranger in Paradise by Martin Denny, and we got For Your Eyes Only by Sheena Easton, from James Bond. And the next one is Day One from Interstellar, like the soundtrack. And the next one's Wayland from the Prometheus soundtrack. Got lots of soundtrack music. The Void from Gravity soundtrack. A Terrible Choice from Mission Impossible Fallout. Dark Lady by Cher. You're the Best, Joe Esposito. A View to a Kill, Duran Duran. I mean, typically I listen to kind of like older music. I would say like mid-century to like 90s is kind of like where most of my music sits. But I do listen to I try to listen to more modern music, but I have a hard time listening to modern music. I don't know why. Because I'm a crotchety old man at heart. That's why. We can get off this topic. I know I'm the only one who cares about this. You mean hockey? I'm trying to get into it because I need something to not to live for, but like, you know, something exciting in my life outside of I don't know, work, whatever. Keep myself distracted. Ivy looks like she'd be into Katy Perry, Kesha, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Nicki Minaj. You mean everybody who was popular in 2010 to 2013 when the show was on? Yeah. No offense, Ivy. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not very well versed either. I like last night I put the game on, but I was also playing Fortnite at the same time, so I was a little bit distracted. I missed most of the best like shots. I saw a couple of them, but the funny thing is though, but when you look across the NHL, like the best players, like regardless of whether they're on a Canadian team or an American team, and usually on the American teams, it's Canadians, right? Because it's a moderately, you know, majority Canadian sport. I just used moderately and majority beside each other, and it didn't really work. Adam Young looks like he has the most boring music taste ever. Probably like me, like mostly like soundtracks and stuff. Or classical music, as we're listening to right now. Canadians are just better at hockey, I think, in your guys' blood. Thank you. I appreciate it. Even though it's like an arbitrary kind of thing. But it's such a competitive sport, and it can get so violent. Like, it's funny because part of me is like, I think this is for a lot of people, most people watching hockey. You're excited for the game and the competition, but then as soon as a fight breaks out, like there's that old saying, I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out. My dad used to say that one. I don't even know why, because he doesn't really watch hockey. He used to play when he was a kid, I think he said. Kind of want tea. Might put the kettle on. So, Vaughn, I know we talked about getting on stream early, or getting on Valorant before stream just to play it out, and I realized I didn't do that. So I apologize for we had a plan and I didn't go along with it. That was more true 10 years ago, Gig. The country representation has evened out more in the past 10 years, which I love. Oh, cool. You completely forgot? Okay, then I feel less bad then. I had to go buy a couple of things. I hadn't left the house in like over a day, which was really weird. And so I had to go buy a couple of things. And yesterday I spent most of the day making bagels. I made 16 bagels yesterday. There's a kid from Italy in this incoming draft that wouldn't have, happened 10 years ago. Wow. Probably, maybe that song Lollipop by Lil Wayne, which he probably dedicates to Ivy considering he has a crush on her in the first 2 seasons. Yeah. It's funny, I've actually been thinking about Mr. Young a lot lately. I don't know why, because it's not like it's any anniversary for it or anything, but I guess technically it is. You know, the very last day of shooting was on my birthday in 2013, my 17th birthday. So maybe that's why I've been thinking about it. Yeah, not necessarily bad thoughts. I've been thinking about, like, I guess how much I've grown as a person since I was on that show. Yeah, it's been that long. So I guess it's been 12 years since it ended and 15 years since it started. Because we technically started in 2010 of October of 2010. Jeez, I can't form sentences today. October of 2010, but I got cast in the summer. It was like 2013, 3 years ago. Bro, what do you mean it's 2016? Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think back to like, oh, 2018 was like last year, right? Or 2019. Because like COVID kind of froze time. Understandable. But then like I keep forgetting, it's like, okay, I got married 6 months ago. And then in 6 months, which is just weird because 6 months away doesn't seem that far. In 6 months, I'll have been married for a year. And Erica and I will have been together for 11 years. I started thinking about it after seeing Maitreya post on IG, which she never does. Actually, I think that was one of the things that prompted me to be thinking about it lately too. And you know what, to be honest, I've been having dreams about like talking to Maitreya and stuff because we don't talk to each other. We follow each other on Instagram. But like last night, I think I was having dreams about like having a conversation with her, which is just weird because it's not like I never think of people, but because we're all like, we worked together so closely for 3 years and during like formative years of our lives. So it's just like weird to think how separate our lives are now. That being said, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, I was thinking so much about Mr. Young already. And I still get like messages from people about Mr. Young, and that's been happening a little bit lately too. So it's just, interesting. After wrapping up on Mr. Young, have you bumped into your old cast members throughout the past couple of years? I would say, yeah, through the last couple of years, I've seen Milo, who played Principal Tater. I've seen Rogi, who played Dang. And I've seen Kurt, who played Slab. Otherwise, I think maybe I have seen... I don't know if I've seen Emily. I haven't really seen Maitreya. No, I haven't seen Maitreya, and I haven't seen Brendan. And the reason why, one of the reasons why we haven't seen each other very often is because the film industry has changed. And I've actually been talking to casting directors lately because I've been kind of more in touch with casting directors, even though I'm not auditioning anymore. But I've been meeting up with people and emailing with people because after 20 years of working in the film industry, I do have a relationship with some people. So it's nice to talk to them. But just the thing is, I've been learning about how much things have changed since COVID, but also since I was like young and I was auditioning a lot. Because when I was like, I want to say 11, 12, 13, I was auditioning at least twice a week. Like I would have a self-tape or an in-room audition, but self-tapes were a lot less common back then. And that's what I'm trying to get to now is majority of auditions these days are self-tapes. So one of the conversations I had with the casting director was about how there's like, I've been saying this, there's a whole generation of actors in Vancouver, which is known for having lots of actors, that don't really know how to in-room audition. They don't, it's not that they don't know how, it's just that they don't have the experience. So it's just such an interesting change. And then I'll say, that's another reason why I haven't really seen people, because like I would see Brendan at auditions all the time before and directly after Mr. Young as well. So that's how we already knew each other. We see each other at auditions. We actually had the same agent for a little while too. So yeah, and I think even when I was in LA, on and off, I did see Brendan at an audition or two when I was down there too. So that's one of the reasons why I don't really see people. I ran into Kurt on the street. 3 years ago now. It's in 2022. Because I was working on a show and I was hanging out with people on that show and he was there. They're not for that same group, but I ran into him. And then I saw Milo at an audition studio recently. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. But yeah. Just popping in to say, hey, I'm in a pizza shop waiting for my order, but once I get home, I'll hop on if you're still streaming. Thanks, Nick. I hope the pizza is delicious. I'm jealous. Pizza sounds great right now. I wonder how Milo feels about having worked with a director who later won Best Picture. Yeah, that's probably something I at least would be very proud of. I'd be like, okay, I can retire now. I see Brendan every now and then at TIFF, but yeah, I can tell I'm not fully ready to handle those pressures of the industry. Gig reunion stream. I've come to terms that it's likely not happening anytime soon. Yeah. I thought it would be really interesting if we did like a reunion show. Vancouver would be the place to do it because like I don't think I can say, but I've seen the upcoming in production list for Vancouver, and there's some things that are, you know, reunion shows. Mr. Young was very low budget. It was for that type of show, and I mean that's kind of par for the course for a Canadian production because it was a 100% Canadian. Yenny86YT, thank you for the follow. Welcome. If you don't audition anymore, it doesn't necessarily mean you're not acting anymore, right? People have been asking me like, "Oh, are you still acting?" And my response now is, "I'm retired." But I mean, I think the way to put it is, I'm still an actor. I'll never not be an actor. But just the way life has been going the last few years, it's kind of like I don't have the time. So, I guess, yeah, I'm not acting anymore. But if somebody came up to me and was like, hey, I want you to be in my movie or my show or something, and they were offering me the role, not in a pretentious way at all, like, I would audition if I felt like I had the energy and the time for it. But if somebody offered me a role and said, hey, I really like your work, I would be like, sweet, let me read your project and we'll talk about it. But other than that, I'm kind of like focused on other things right now. But I still work in the film industry. Like that's where I pay my bills and stuff. But yeah, because like tomorrow I'm working for film, and then Tuesday I'll be working for film, and then the rest of the week, who knows? But I'm basically a day contract worker for film. Last time I ran into Brendan at TIFF, he told me to tell you he says hi. Oh. Well, if you see him again, tell him I say hi back. It'll be a funny little, you know, telegram that took years to get sent back. So you're going the way of Brady Corbett or Corbett then? I don't know who that is, but I guess so. If you ever say Mr. Young was a low budget, just remember Splat-A-Lot was a thing. Yeah. That was a weird experience. Corbet. Okay, thank you. It's funny because with names, it's like I get so worried about saying people's names wrong, but people say my name wrong all the time and I don't care. Like, I've spent a whole day at work with somebody like who's in charge calling me by the wrong name. And I could not get myself to like correct them because I didn't really care. I don't know, James. I don't know because I will literally, people will be like, "What's your name?" I'll say Gig, Gig. Most of the time, I'll say that. Sometimes there's not enough time for me to say Gig, Gig, and they're like trying to get some instruction or information out or talk to a group of people to be like, "Hey, what's your name?" I'll be like, "Oh, Gig," and they'll be, "Oh, Greg." Okay, I got Greg. Or if even when I spell it out, I'll say Gig, Gig, and they'll go Jig. Okay. Yes, Jig. Which is funny. I think it's funny. Greg, yeah. I know. My favorite one, and it's actually kind of a vague memory now, but I remember being at a party for like an industry party years ago, and I was like a kid. I was like probably 10 or 11. And this older woman was like, "So what's your name?" And it was loud, so I don't blame her for anything, but it was a funny interaction. I said, "I'm Gig." "You're gay?" That is some people's name. Not saying it's wrong, but I just thought it was a funny interaction. I should actually write, I am working on a stand-up set that I will probably never perform, but it's just for creative purposes. I should probably add a bit about my name in there. Game Warden. Yep. Yep. I feel like sometimes I'm like wondering if I should. Your aunt's name is actually gay? Yeah, I mean, it's a name. It's a real name. I can relate, though. I think I've had my name as Born, Bon, Vorn, Thorn, and for some reason, Porn. I'm getting a phone call that I have to answer, so I will be right back. Okay? BRB. Thank you for standing by. Hello, I'm back. I apologize about that. It's a phone call I needed to make or needed to take. Did music stop playing? What's going on here? Yeah. That's really weird. It like paused. I don't think I paused it. No, I didn't. Strange. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, James. Bands you should add to your playlist. Godsmack, Saliva, Nonpoint, POD, Alien Ant Farm, Puddle of Mud, Trust Company, Mudvayne, Deftones, Alice in Chains, CKY, Tool, and Spineshank. That's a list. I will look into some of those for my workout playlist. How long have I been streaming? 46 minutes. Wow. Time flies. Saying you're not really acting anymore just made me think of Brady Corbet. Yeah. It's interesting because for me, it was definitely it was almost like a psychological experiment to decide to do that. Just because I basically grew up acting, right? I started theater when I was 7. Started thinking about acting professionally when I was 8, and actually started acting professionally when I was 9. So yeah. What was that show you did background on recently? That's a good question because I actually do quite a bit. Like on Tuesday, I'll be working background on something, and I don't think I can even talk about it because I'm gonna be signing an NDA tomorrow for it. Do I know who Ronnie Radke is? No, I don't. The one I sent you. Oh, that one, yeah, because that episode came out. That one was The Irrational. I was like, wait a minute, I know that guy when I saw you Yellow Jackets, yeah. Yeah, that was The Irrational. That was a cool experience because I had done background on that show a couple times before as like different things. Like you don't even see me in this recent episode. You just see the top of my head. But when I was there, I knew that they were gonna have Bill Nye in the episode, like on the screen. And Bill Nye actually, like, they called him when we were there shooting. They called him and had a FaceTime with him. So that was cool. That was me when I saw him in Supernatural. Yeah, Supernatural is really fun, but that was so long ago now. That was 2017, 2018? 2018. It's pre-COVID. But yeah, there's some experiences that I get to have as like a background worker and like background performer, I guess I should say. And I enjoy it. I get to see actors and I get to reunite with actors. Like I worked on a show here. I'm not going to say the name of it because again, I don't know if there's much like I'm pretty sure there's already a season of it out, but yeah, I worked on a show and one of the main actors on it now, he signed on for the 2nd and 3rd season, I think. I had acting class with when I was like 16, 17. No, maybe a little bit older, maybe 18. I think it was just post Mr. Young. And I had like a really intense acting scene from the play Equus, which if you know about that play, it's a pretty crazy play. Daniel Radcliffe was in it. Yeah, I had an intense scene with him. So it was nice to reunite with him and meet him and talk to him. The nude horse one, right? Yeah. There's a, like... Yeah. And let me say, I had a pretty intense scene with a horse. Well, reenacting what I did with a horse in front of a psychiatrist. I don't know which one. Anyways. It's all for the art, Vaughn. It's all for the art, right? Anyways, this is about a guy who really likes... What did I do to the horse? More like what I... no, I'm not going to say. I didn't do anything to a horse. Let me say that. You know, Mr. Young was one of those shows that inspired me to get into acting like you do. I was a little kid when I began watching, and I'm all grown up now, so thanks for the inspiration there. You're welcome, Yanni. I'm glad I could inspire somebody. I always say it's crazy to think that I was a part of people's childhood. And, yeah, because it was the highlight of my career, like working on Mr. Young. Enjoy your movie, Jamie. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. I am in a weird, like, mindset today. I think it's because I slept a little bit longer last night than I have been getting lately. But yeah, weird mindset. Because normally I wouldn't talk about the Equus scene that I did. But also at the same time, it's like, it's a pretty well-known play. That was like one of those scenes, and I've had this a bunch of times throughout my career as an actor, but one of those scenes where it's like, I spent a lot of prep work on it. Even just in the memorization to make sure that when I'm performing, I don't think about what I'm saying. And then I only really remember like snippets, moments here and there of doing the scene. And kind of like feeling, I hate this term, but surrendering myself to it. And kind of just being there. I don't really remember the scene that much. And then I remember like afterwards, you know, people in class who are watching being like, wow, good job, you know? And then I've had scenes where like I work myself up where I'm like crying and stuff, and then like I can't stop crying afterwards, which is really annoying because it feels like to me it kind of defeats the purpose of like being an actor. So like you're supposed to be able to, in my opinion, it's like where I don't like people who are method acting, because if they take it too far, they separate themselves from what they're actually doing. No, not Mr. Young. I was talking about a play, a scene that I did from a play in acting class, like, geez, like 7 years ago. No, longer. 10 years ago. 11 years ago. I think it was before I was dating Erica. It was probably about almost a year before I started dating Erica. I mean, there was a scene where... Was it me? I was dressed up as a centaur? Yeah, I was dressed up as a centaur on Mr. Young. Yeah, I was kind of talking about acting class. I don't know how I got there. I'm trying to remember now. Oh, because I was talking about doing background on a show and reconnecting with an actor I had that scene with. Yeah, that's what it was. But yeah, I do enjoy doing background because there's like, for me, it feels like there's no responsibility. It's a really easy job. But it can be fun too at times. That being said, I do enjoy most work I've done in film, like even as a production assistant, running around, working in the rain or whatever, right? It's funny because if memory serves me correct, you met Erica because of Mr. Young. Yes, that is true. It's funny, you guys both said the same thing, but the sentence structure is just different. Yeah, we met, I actually have a photo on my fridge. I'll go grab it in a second, but it's a photo of Erica and I at 14 years old. Meeting like after the live studio audience shoot day, because what we would do, so they had the sets, they had like an alleyway in a warehouse, right? And that alleyway was like very smooth concrete. And if you think of it, it's like a straight, I would say like maybe like 100 feet long, maybe longer. And then on one side of it was the sets. So we had the first one was like the big outdoor set of like the outside of the school with the grass and the benches and stuff, and the entrance to with the stairs up to the school. And then the next one we had was Mr. Young's classroom, which connected, like, it was a really cool set because behind it was the hallway, and then beside it was like the hallway, and then that hallway kept going and connected to Mrs. Burns' classroom. And then you would go around a corner and there would be the house set for Adam Young's house. And then there would be what we call the swing set, which was just an area where they would build different sets. And sometimes they would build, like if we had a special episode, they would build a set within the set because they didn't have enough space in this warehouse. And then on the other side of the alley, which they would call the camera alley, there's another name for it too, I can't remember, there would be stands with like seats and stuff. And that would probably seat like maybe 60 to 100 people, I think. Something like that. And then like after we would shoot the live audience part of the episode, they would have people kind of line up around the walkway up to the stands, and we would sign autographs and take photos with people and stuff. So I'll go grab that photo and I'll show you guys the photo of me and Erica, because I'm pretty sure this is the photo of us first meeting. It might be the second time because it was like I met her once near the beginning of the show, and then I met her again either near the end of season 1 or the beginning of season 2, which there was actually a pretty big gap between the seasons. I think it was like 3 or 4 months. But I'll be right back. Speaking of Mr. Young, while filming the show throughout the 3 years you were on set, were there any incidents or any instances where something went wrong, like a stunt gone wrong, for example? I'm trying to remember because it's been so long. I don't think anything went terribly wrong. I don't think anybody ever got hurt. And the way film sets kind of work is if something kind of goes wrong, they need to be able to adapt. Am I wrong, or did Erica know someone on the cast? That's how she got into the audience. So her mom is friends and business partners with somebody who worked on the crew. She was like the camera coordinator was her official title. And I think at one point she directed an episode, but I don't know if, because I know she was getting into directing around that time. And I can't remember if she directed an episode of Mr. Young near the end. I'll have to check her IMDb because it's shameful of me to not fully remember this. And then she definitely directed episodes of the show that came after Mr. Young. Some Assembly Required, which I was on an episode of that too. That being said, Erica tells me she like kind of knew acquaintance-wise like Maitreya through connections and stuff. Probably similar to, like, I think Erica was just starting to audition and stuff back then too, so there was kind of like the acting connection there. So this is the photo of me and Erica. I'm trying to like, I'm gonna show it to you guys in a second, but I'm trying to figure out, looking at it, to see if it's like really early Mr. Young or if it's like second season. It's definitely not the very beginning because I know we didn't have this way of signing autographs set up like this originally, like in the very beginning. We used to not be separated so much, but so this is me and Erica at 14, I believe, either 14 or 15. I don't know about that, Riker, but yeah, it's funny because I was meeting so many people back then, so it's not necessarily like I was like, oh yeah, that's Erica, and like I knew who she was, because I was being introduced to all these people being like, they know so and so, they're connected to so and so, and I try to like keep it all organized. And as a 14-year-old, that was a lot. But I did end up following her on Twitter like not long after we met. And that's how we ended up connecting later on. Lorelei, sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, but hello, welcome. My music stopped playing again, which is really weird. Oh no, it's still playing, it's just really quiet. Quiet classical. But yeah, I have that photo up. We got it like reprinted, or I don't know how we found it. We got it reprinted for our engagement party. So that's how, the last time I saw this photo not long after it was taken, and then the next time I saw it was like 2023. Yeah, like May or June 2023. Did you start dating during or after Mr. Young? After Mr. Young. We started dating over a year after Mr. Young ended. Back before Twitter became Hellscape, yeah. Rest in peace, Twitter. And I was trying to find our original messages to each other on Twitter, like our actual DMs, but I could not find them. They got deleted. Like there's messages of us like saying like love you or whatever on Twitter, but that was like 6 months or something after we had became official dating. We dated for like a month. Just getting into my personal relationships here, but we dated for like a month and then became like an official couple. But yeah, and then when I proposed, I don't have it on my desktop on my computer anymore, but I have a photo of me tweeting her, which initiated us starting to talk. And I put that in I think it was her birthday card recently. Like in recent years. It's always been bad, but pre-COVID, it wasn't anywhere close as bad. Yeah. I do agree that hopefully one day there would be a reunion special for Mr. Young, like how Friends got a reunion special. It would be a good opportunity for everyone to come back together. I think so too. Who slid into whose DMs? So Erica tweeted and said, I'm finally 18 or whatever, right? When you're 18, you're all excited. And I said, welcome to the club, because my birthday was just 4 months before hers. And I don't really even, I wasn't like a super flirty guy. I was never like, I don't and never had a lot of riz, you know? I thought I did, but I don't think I ever did. So I just tweeted welcome to the club, and then I can't remember, I think she DM'd me and asked for my Snapchat, because that was, you know, how 18-year-olds communicated back then with Snapchat. Such a different time. I like barely use social media now. I have like one group chat and like two friends outside of that group chat that I talk to. So. Well, Riker, I had the like homeschooled kid Riz. That's all I had. I should have been Spider-Man. Thank you. That would have been fun. Although I think Tom Holland is a better actor than me in pretty much every way. And I really like Tom Holland as Spider-Man, so I'm not sad that I didn't get it. That being said, when I auditioned, so I was auditioning for the first, like obviously the first appearance of Spider-Man in the current MCU. And that was in Civil War. I'll have to do acting headshots now, but it was great chatting with you, Gigs. See you next time. Good luck with your headshots. I hope they turn out great. Thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so I auditioned for Civil War. But I think I had looked it up at the time, and I did see it was already between a couple of actors, and they were both British. Asa Butterfield and Tom Holland were like their rumored considerations back then. And when I did actually go into the audition, it was not I wasn't reading as Peter Parker. They got me to read as the best friend. So I thought that was interesting. Because I think my agent kind of like lied to me. My LA agent at the time kind of like lied to me and was like, you're auditioning to be Spider-Man. Or for Spider-Man. I was like, oh, that's really exciting because that's like a dream role of mine. But none of the audition material was as Spider-Man, so I don't know what the actual like agreement there was for the audition to have me in there. Yeah, whatever. I was... Man, how old was I? I was probably like 19 or 20. Do I miss Mr. Young? I've said this a few times recently. It was definitely the highlight of my career, so I do miss it. I do miss the live audience. I do miss the comedy and making people laugh. Definitely had a like lasting impact on me for sure in many ways. So I guess the answer to your question is yes, I do miss it. $3:30. Oh, my watch is fast. I'm trying to decide what I want to do. If I want to play games or would you just chat for the rest of the time? Because I can only stream for another hour, I think. Like suddenly very cold. When I auditioned for Mr. Young, did I audition for Derby? Yes and no. I had more auditions to be Adam than to be Derby. I think I had about 10 auditions in total. I had like a pre-screen, which I went into a room with a casting director I had known for years at the time, and just read the scene with him, like off the page, which was really weird because this casting director has very high standards, and I had never ever even dreamed of bringing the pages in with me, but I actually wasn't prepared for that audition, and I don't know why he brought me back in. Like, maybe I did better than I thought, but I honestly thought I was doing terrible for this because it was a different format of audition than I was used to, because it was like kind of face to face, and there was no camera that I knew of. There's no camera, and it was just kind of more of an intimate reading session, and then I got an actual audition, and then I think I had 2 or 3 callbacks, and I got to the top 10 of Mr. Young for Adam. And then they said, "Oh, we're not going to go forward with you for Adam, but we want you to read for the best friend." So at that point, I hadn't even really thought about the best friend character. I was so focused on Adam. And then I had an audition for the best friend, and it really clicked with me. I don't know what it was about the energy for Derby, but I just really felt like really natural in the shoes of Derby. And then I had a callback, and then I found out that they were going to ask me to do a chemistry read, which is when they put you in an audition with another actor they're considering for the role. And so I found out that I was going to be doing a chemistry read with Brendan. And he's the only one I did a chemistry read with, like, because I don't think they were really thinking about having us do scenes. They weren't really thinking about the scenes that I would have, like, with Maitreya or with Ivy, with Emily or with Kurt. Even though they eventually did branch off to having, like, scenes together with these people, these characters. So then actually what Brendan and I did, because we had the same agent at the time, is we met up and we rehearsed the scenes together before we went and did the chemistry read, just to make sure we were both prepared and helping each other have the best opportunity. But I know Brendan actually came into the race later, and they couldn't find anyone they wanted to play Adam. And then Brendan was traveling for work or something. I can't remember. He wasn't even in town, and then he happened to be in town at the right time, and they had him come in and read, and they really liked his reading, which, I mean, I can't think of anybody else playing Adam other than Brendan. He did it so well. Yeah, and then we did the chemistry read, and then I think we found out, like, not long after that. So it ended up being like 8, 9, 10 auditions in total. Sorry for the long-winded story. The only reason I'm glad you didn't get Spider-Man is because I feel like if you did get that role, it wouldn't have been as easy for me to have befriended you. Yeah, I probably might never have actually started streaming if I had gotten that role. I'm curious, you don't have to name names, but did you have any one-time actors in Mr. Young who is a diva? I think we did, but to be honest, I don't remember them because whenever I work with a diva, even if I'm doing background and some actor has a episode or a diva moment, I just like, I don't care. It's not worth my time. They're trying to take up time when people have moments like that. And I think even if I myself was having a moment like that, in any case, I don't think I ever did, but who knows? Maybe I wasn't aware of it. I hope people would just tune it out because it's not really worth the time or the energy. It's not really about you as the actor. It's more about the work. I've always believed. At least I firmly believe that now. Favorite episode of Mr. Young? You know, always close to my heart will be the first few episodes. And first few episodes, I mean like the first few episodes that we filmed. Which would have been, the first one we filmed was Mr. Younger Man. I think that was episode 102 or 103. And then Mr. Inventor, the one with the hair growth formula, and then Mr. Roboto. I think those are like my top 3. That being said, I also had a lot of fun filming the 3-part episode where obviously I got to have like a whole concert and record a song and basically make a music video. That was a lot of fun. Do you pick who you audition for, or is it chosen? I'm interested in acting at some point. So, I mean, the way I've done it my whole career is I have an agent, and the agent represents me, so they work for me in a way, because if I work and I get paid, they get a percentage, like a commission off of it. So they're trying to find me the work. Otherwise, like, you know, if they don't find me work, then they don't get paid. That being said, at a point when I had auditioned enough, then casting directors were familiar with me, so then they would request me, or they would just have me on their like list of people they regularly request, and then they would automatically go out, and then they would pick, like, consciously pick people from there kind of to audition. So normally I wouldn't choose unless it was like an audition that I got and I read the material, and I didn't like it. Then I would unchoose it. Essentially, I would say, no, I'm not doing this because I don't think I'm right for the role, or I'm not comfortable with the material. This music's very intense for this conversation. So no, I don't really pick. I don't really choose. The agent will try and get me as many auditions as possible because it's really just about casting a wide net and a numbers game. And that being said, if you're doing a lot of auditions, then you're practicing. You're getting better at the process. 100% on your artificial intelligence midterm. So, like, you used AI to write the paper, or was it a test about AI? Preston Pickles' actor is so good. Yeah, he's great. He's talented. He's a nice guy. I actually worked with him on a TV show called Family Law last year. Shadow King, hey, what's up? How's it going? Just a chatting stream? Yeah, so far. It's an AI class required for a CS3. Nice. Nice. Good job, James. I'm proud of you. Least favorite Mr. Young episode, go. Oh, geez. Mr. Honest. And that's only because we took like 4 to 6 weeks to finish that episode, and that was like weeks of working. So it actually could have taken longer to finish it because we would have breaks every 3 weeks. Something like 3 or 4 weeks we would have a break. So what we were doing was we were filming this episode. We would have a regular episode we were filming, and then in that same week where we were filming an episode, we would film a quarter of another episode. We ended up changing it to 1.5 a week, But for that first while, we were doing 1.25, and trying to keep track of that quarter episode was impossible. I don't know why, and we kept coming back to it, and it just felt like this episode would never end. Not saying it's a bad written episode or a bad filmed episode. It was just it just dragged on, and for me, kind of killed the flow and the energy of it. I think they figured that out. Like as soon as we were done doing a quarter, because we only did it for one episode. Pretty sure we only did it for one episode. They were like, we're not doing it this way again. We're going to do 1.5 because it's a lot easier to keep track of a half of an episode a week than a quarter. So yeah. Would I ever think about doing voice acting? I did voice acting. And it's funny because I had already, like my principal acting agent, I already talked to him about like stopping, not auditioning. And I completely forgot because it was like with a different agency, and I don't talk to them very often. They just send me auditions every once in a while. I had completely forgotten about my voice agent. And so it was like 8 months or almost a year. No, more like 8 months. After I had like said I'm not auditioning anymore for like regular acting. And then I think I got a voice audition. I said, "Oh, hey, I'm not gonna do this because I'm not doing this anymore." So that was pretty funny. And she was like, "Oh, no problem. Take care." But I think she was like totally fair. I think I forgot about you for a while because that does happen. Like if you're not in contact with an agent, which if anybody's interested in acting, this is advice I will give, and it's like business advice technically. And I was not even very good at it. And people are much better at it than me. But be in contact with your agent. Have regular conversations about whatever. You know, you can have like almost like a friendly relationship with your agent because it gets them to know you better. And then they don't forget about you. And it sounds bad saying that people will forget about you, but it's mostly just like when people are busy working, they've got a lot of other things and people they're thinking about. So like don't take it personally if like you're not always front of mind of that person who's got like probably 20 to 30, maybe 50 other people on their roster or more. Some agents probably have like 100 people. I don't even know because I'd love to learn more about how agents work. That's actually something I've been kind of looking into, asking agents I know, like how does it work? So it is an extremely competitive market, and it's even worse nowadays because you don't get to see people face to face as much anymore. I did voice acting. Yeah, I did commercials mostly. I did a few when I was younger, and then a few years ago I did some like kind of just general background, general voice work on Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Like it was an animated show or movie. I don't even know. I know that I auditioned and I booked a character and I went and recorded it. And then there was kind of a thing about, and I didn't even know what my character looked like or anything, but there was a thing about my character not being the same race as me. So, or maybe they changed it. I don't know. So they couldn't actually use what I recorded for that character anymore. So they just had me as like a random kid. They changed the character. They kept my voice acting and like, I'm sure they just kind of stitched together something because they didn't want to just like cut me out completely, I guess. I haven't even seen the project. I'll actually gonna pull up my IMDb because I can't even remember what I'm credited as. Because it was so long ago now. I even remember what year I recorded it. No results found for my own name. That's a lie. That's a lie. Random Boy voice. This was in 2021 it came out, but I think we recorded it during COVID. We recorded it at the beginning of COVID because I remember wearing a mask to the studio. You're constantly competing against thousands of actors. That's true. It's very true. It is competitive, and you have to be, like, the amount of rejection I've experienced in my life is probably significantly more than the average person. Like, I was recently up for a job on a show, working like not in front of the camera, and I interviewed, and my interview didn't go very well. My own fault. Not like I completely bombed it, but my energy wasn't right. And And so I didn't get the job. And that's totally fine. The one lesson I take away from acting that's like I think is the most important thing that can be applied to everything in life is the person who is best for the role is the one who will get it. Because they're best for it because they got it, in a way, right? You must be a great interview. You probably are. I think a lot of interview, and from my own experience, because I have interviewed a bit for jobs outside of the film industry too, is that the thing about interviews is it's mostly about the energy and how you present yourself, right? Like for me, I usually say, and I didn't say this in my most recent interview, I usually say like, I'm a hard worker, I show that I have work ethic. And then I say the most important thing to me is kindness. No matter how hard of a day you're having or how crappy of a day you're having, like how hard work is, you can still be nice to people. And that's really important in industries like the film industry or industries where you're kind of dealing with people and a lot of different personalities. And it just shows, in my opinion, it shows that you can kind of roll with the punches and you can keep your own ego and your own energy and personality in check. And I think that is the most important thing in any job. But yeah. It's so weird. I'm looking at photos of myself on IMDb and I feel like I'm looking at a different person. This is so weird because it's so long ago. Like this is 12 years ago on My Mother's Future Husband. That was 2013. I look so smarmy. And I do have some good headshots. I look kind of like Owen Wilson in one of these. I don't know why. Some good photographers, though. I remember showing up to some photo shoots not really prepared. And then some photo shoots, because I had been to photo shoots before, that everything was provided, like hair and makeup, costumes. And then I've had headshot photo shoots where it's I didn't really think about it. So I wasn't really prepared. I didn't have any makeup on because I mean, they can edit photos. That's fine. I didn't have anything in my hair. I don't know what I was thinking. So from when I last got headshots to when I decided to stop auditioning, it had been almost 10 years. More than 10 years. Got me checking his IMDb. You've only ever come close to losing it on a Karen. Thank the Lord the coworker took over. Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I've had a difficult job before where I've literally had to deal with the most difficult type of people. And learning to be patient or just firm, standing my ground on things. It's a life lesson that I will take with me for the rest of my life for sure. He was Random Boy voice in Diary of a Kid, basically carried the entire movie. Exactly. I mean, they should be paying you residuals and stuff for this. Just that's sarcasm. I remember when I did a ad. I don't even think it's on IMDb because they don't really put commercials on IMDb. I did a commercial for Ask FM. I was like, oh, they're bringing Ask FM back. Sweet. So I did a audition. I think this was before COVID. When was this? I can't remember. It's such a blur. But I just had my MacBook in my bedroom and I just recorded the audition. And then I got the role from that. I was really shocked. I got the job. It wasn't really a role. It was a job. And then I went and recorded it and I was like, oh, man, I could just get used to this. Going in and recording for an hour and getting paid for the whole day. Wish I could do that a couple times a week. That would be awesome. in my defense, this lady were being super sexist to a new employee for no reason. These days, I'm just like, really? I have no tolerance for like sexism or racism or like transphobia, any of that. I'm just like kind of completely, I'm almost oblivious to it. Like I just tune it out because maybe it's throughout COVID or whatever political climate we're in, but it just feels like the general public service workers get treated so badly these days. And yeah, I'm just like so over it. Because it was, I feel like we've had a shift. Like before it used to be like edgy humor. People could get away with saying it was that. And now I'm like, it's not even funny anymore. At least to me. I don't, most of the stuff I find funny are like family friendly jokes, to be honest, but it might just be me. I don't know. Or like the joke about like I was saying, the perception of my name. I find that funny. Because who's getting hurt in that joke? Nobody. Right? Everyone worships billionaires now, so they look down on people more like them because of their narrow viewpoints. We must be related. Thanks, Jess. That's my sister, by the way. Thank you for dropping into my stream. I appreciate it. But yeah, I just like, yeah, I can't. It's not even like I just don't have the capacity for it at all. Rashad, hey, how's it going? Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. I love that, and then I love when people take jokes like that and they just kind of put their own spin on it, or they expand on it, or I can't remember his name. Eric is a really big fan of him right now, but he's a stand-up comedian who he hosted SNL. Was it this season or last season? But his whole thing is just about being a dumb middle-aged dad, and I love it. Like he has a whole joke about how he dropped his kid off at school, his daughter off at school, and then the school called him and was like asking him questions about, what school she goes to or whatever, right? Like, the school that I can't remember what happened, but he was like, why did they call me? Like, you see that there's a mom and a dad on the contact list and you choose to call the dad. Like, you may as well just grab a lady off the street and ask her. She'll probably figure it out faster than I could. I thought that was hilarious. Like, I love those kinds of jokes because it's a little bit self-deprecating and it's nobody is the butt of the joke. Because you don't have to have a butt of the joke for the joke to be funny. Maybe controversial, I don't know. Some people really think that there has to be a victim in a joke, but I don't think so, personally. Riker, my sister was in the YouTube chat, so that's why you probably can't see her name. Dill Pickle, hey, what's up? How's it going? Welcome. But yeah, I've been kind of thinking a bit. Dill Pickle, big fan. See, that's a good joke too. I like that. I like that. But yeah, it's funny because as I've gotten back into trying to write jokes for myself, I find myself going to political humor, and that's not me. So I'm trying to kind of reframe my old humor, because I did have a lot of like self-deprecating jokes about being homeschooled, about being like kind of a weird kid. I love it when comedians point out their own inefficiencies and things like that. I just think it's kind of like sitting around a table with friends and family and everyone's just kind of like just pointing out funny things that happen. I like that kind of energy to comedy and to stand-up comedy. That being said, I think if people are joking together, they can kind of rip on one another a little bit, and that could be okay. But there has to be that like pre-established relationship. Ah. Yeah. I need to fix my window because it's so cold. What were we talking about? We were talking about my IMDb Diary of a Wimpy Kid voiceover. Oh yeah, voiceover stuff. So I did a few commercials. I know I did one for like Roger's internet or phone service or something like, and I was like 13 or something. Wow, that's 15 years ago. Almost 16 years ago. That is pretty crazy. I'm trying to think about what my favorite kind of pickle is. It might be dill pickle, but I do like sweet gherkins. And only recently have I actually become like, you know, tolerant or enjoy occasionally olives. They have to be the right kind. I don't know. Been writing lots of comedy scripts. Love having things that occur in the real world appear in them. It's as it's often stranger than anything you can come up with as a writer. I think that's true. Yeah. I like pointing out kind of like very moderate hypocrisy that that exists within our everyday lives. Trust me, I remember you made one wheelchair joke and you felt so bad. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I don't think people who I don't think anybody might feel, I'm not saying you do, but insecure or sensitive or anything should be the butt of the joke. I mean, if you're making jokes about yourself and your own perception of life, I think that's great, right? Because there's strength in that. But it's funny because I took a stand-up comedy class when I was 18, and that was the first time I ever did first and only time I've ever done stand-up, but I learned a lot, and I was able to apply a lot of my skills that I learned on Mr. Young to it. But I remember the teacher, like when we had our final like performance and we had an actual audience and we had like everyone doing their individual sets, and he kind of like sometimes he'd fill the gaps, like if somebody needed a break or if like to warm up the audience, he went out. The teacher is a stand-up comedian, and I actually been seeing him advertised around Vancouver because he's been doing like Just for Laughs and stuff and like comedy festivals. I remember his jokes would be just like about mundane things. They would be about, you know, goldfish, like owning a goldfish. I vaguely remember he had a joke about that, and people were laughing. And it's because also when you sit people down, you go, we're all here to laugh and have a good time. It creates a certain energy that I think is wonderful. I remember you said it without thinking, and you were like, oh God, Riker, I'm so sorry. I can't even remember the joke. I can't remember what joke I made. It was probably like just a throwaway too, because I was playing a game and then I was like, oh, this happened like Riker, you know? Which is also a cheap shot, I think, in terms of comedy. I'm gonna look at my stand-up comedy that I've been writing. I haven't written in a few weeks. February 26th. Jeez, I gotta get back. I was writing every Monday. So far I'm writing about anxiety, traveling. Let me see ones that I haven't actually put in my set. Neurodivergence, because gonna see if some assessment this year, what that tells me about myself. Inflation. Some stuff's like not funny, but I'll write it out anyways, just in case. I think something like, if the handicap spot on the train is taken, we can tie Riker to the back of the train. Oh, did I say that? Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, I think I said because his wheels would fit on the tracks or something. God. I have a runny nose, but I don't have any tissues. I don't have any tissues, but I have issues. And I watched you sweat and didn't respond for like 4 minutes. Yeah. My friends would tell me stories about what happened that day with them. Oh, I think I missed the first part. Oh, yeah. So often until you repeated what they said to them, they wouldn't understand what they were saying was really funny. Yeah, I mean, sometimes definitely, like, even scary or upsetting things that happen at the time when they're upsetting, when you look at them later and you take them out of that initial context, I mean, as long as everyone's okay, things can be funny later, which is great. It's a great evolution of, life. Hollywood AI. I think I wrote about AI too. I'm just trying to like think of topics. Older men love crude humor. I don't know a dad that won't laugh at a joke that contains some combination of prostitutes, Asians, or gays. I wrote that down. And sometimes it's hard to identify as a younger man myself, but then I remember that a lot of these men were never taught how to express their emotions. It's kind of like when you were a kid and you learn a new word, but you're told you aren't allowed to say it around other people because it could be rude. You ended up saying that word at the most inappropriate time. Older men are kind of like that kid. You know they usually mean well, but they just can't help themselves. It's like a big red shiny button that they know they shouldn't push. I don't even have that in my set, but I think I might add that because it's actually kind of funny. Yeah, there's a lot here I haven't... Like, there's more here that I haven't put in my set. And I mean, to be fair, I only have like 6 paragraphs in my set, like 6 separate jokes. And I'd like it to be like 5 to 10 minutes long because as a part of like my goal for building a set, I would like it to be around 5 or 10 minutes. I still remember you said it. Erica said, "Gig." You processed it and went on to apologize even after I admitted I was dying laughing. Yeah. Yeah, I know I've said something stupid when Erica goes, "Gig," because she never says that, right? Like, she never says it in that tone. I've either embarrassed her or I've embarrassed myself really bad when she says that. Yeah, I think I put that one in. I need to put that one in my set. It's the edgiest joke I've written, but I need to like highlight that a different color to remind myself to put it in. Make it blue. But I'm not going to read it on stream because I'm saving it. I need to tweak it. I need to perfect it before I ever share any of my comedy other than that one I just read, which is actually pretty funny. To be fair to you, though, you clearly said it in a joking tone. If you said it in a serious tone, I would have been a bit more suspicious. I will say this as like a rule in my life. No matter what I say or what I do, I never intend to hurt anybody. I don't think anything is worth doing if somebody gets hurt in any way. Even if it made me filthy rich. Which I wish I could say that there are other people who have those values today, but there seems to be not a very popular outlook on life. I think maybe I will stream... We'll see. This week is going to be up in the air a little bit, but I would like to stream. It depends on how rich we're talking. Well, some people, rich is never rich enough. There's no limit. This week's a little bit up in the air. I would like to stream in the middle of the week at some point and do do like a game stream of like Super Mario Brothers. I have an emulator on my computer and controller hooked up so I can play like an old SNES slash Game Boy version of Super Mario Brothers, and I would love to like just try and like play right through that, play a bunch of that for a stream. So we'll see. This week's been a bit unpredictable. Already looks like it's a bit unpredictable, so we'll see. Especially my birthday's on Saturday, so I don't know what's gonna be happening this week. Yeah, got a lot of things to consider. I forgot that was a thing. What? I love just continuing on what Dill Pickle said about things Fred said. One of the things I like about stand-up, like comedy in general and stand-up comedy, is the ability to tell stories, right? Like, you can tell a story in a stand-up comedy context or environment, and you can embellish it or change it or just like zhuzh it up as much as you want. And I love that because it's life experience. It's storytelling. It's painting with words. I think it's a beautiful thing. I received a gift from a friend on Steam. Vaughn. Oh, the Steam team. Who was that? But thank you. Just gifted me Bully. And I will definitely play it on stream. As long as it's appropriate. I actually don't know what goes on in that game, but I often find recording a short going into a different characters often brings up certain jokes, as you often find patterns in the person you're imitating and you can generate material from that. Yeah. That's definitely true. I mean, the way I like to write comedy is it was on sale for £3.50, so I figured I'd just buy it. I appreciate that, Vaughn. Thank you very much. I'll consider it my birthday present. Thank you so much. I mean, did you say happy birthday? Or was it just a gift? Just cheers. I'm considering it my birthday present. But I find if I just sit down and start writing, and I think I'm trying to have like a comedy mindset, I can try and spin anything I write. It's just stream of consciousness into comedy. And then that helps me kind of look at everyday life events and situations in a more comedic way, which is a good way to come up with jokes and funny things, but also helps me with a more positive mindset in general. Have I ever played any Souls-like games? Might be fun to do a stream like Dark Souls. I don't think I have, but I will consider it. I do want to stream more often and for a little bit longer each time, but lately I just been my life balance is not great right now, just in between work and stuff, but yeah, I'll figure it out. Just gonna look on Steam actually. Yeah, I don't know how. I haven't watched it in a long time, and I don't know how well it stands up to the test of time. But my stand-up comedy set that I did from that class when I was 18 is on my YouTube channel. I don't know if I disabled it or not, actually. Dark Souls. Dark Souls. I always avoided Dark Souls because my cousin he told me about one time when he played and he raged so hard on PS3 he ejected it from the PS3 and broke the disc because he was so angry. Better get on CD keys. Be cheaper probably, right? Start with Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 1 is a lot more clunky. It's rough. Okay. Okay, I'll keep that in mind when I'm considering it. Just happened. My brain just disorganized itself. Oh yeah, I wanted to see if my That video is still on my YouTube channel. Really old. Oh yeah. Still there 10 years ago. 5 minutes. It's a 5-minute set. Dark Souls 3 was my favorite Souls-like game, and I was stuck on the tutorial boss for quite a while. Almost quit. Glad I didn't. One of my favorite series now. Nice. Yeah, I need to branch out in my gaming, because I mean, I usually just play games to just try and unwind at the end of the day, but I do need to play. I need to play some different games, for sure. Just distracted by my own YouTube channel here because I like old videos I completely forgot about. And then like stream clips and videos made from streams from like 4 years ago during COVID. Wow. Yeah, I used to write every Monday, so I need to get back into that. Got into Outlast Trials and spent fun with friends. Outlast Trials. Outlast. Why does that sound familiar? I feel like I've seen that game. Outlast Trials. Interesting. Rated M for mature. Looks scary. Kind of reminds me so far, I mean, only seen like 3 seconds of it. But is it kind of like Dead by Daylight a little? We can't play Outlast Trials. It looks a little too violent for stream. Definitely. What even is on my wish list? I apparently have 35 things on my wish list, but I don't really even know. These are just random things I'm gonna take something off, some stuff off here. Like the day before, I think I put on there just because Vaughn and Dan were really excited about it. And it has overwhelmingly negative reviews. It's like Amnesia with multiplayer and nudity. Wow, okay. Yeah, definitely. I don't even know if I would like that off stream. We'll see, but... I wish DayZ got cheaper than 50% off, because even 50% off, it's still $34. And for a... Like, DayZ's pretty old at this point. But I want to play it. I've been playing Dead Side with a friend of mine, and I find that fun, but it's also like I've just been playing on this like private-ish server that's very empty most of the time. There's nobody else on it, so I'm just doing these quests and stuff by myself. Or missions, I guess I should say. You wish DayZ mod was still around? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wish there was more community-driven games rather than just like the big multiplayer games, but I think people are kind of lazy these days in terms of like investing time and energy and stuff. something about PUBG when I opened Steam, and now I don't know what it was. Mixed. There is Survive the Nights, but it's pretty dead. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then, like, Rust was, like, super crazy full of people. I'm excited for Subnautica 2. I don't know when that's supposed to come out. It says 2025, but we'll see. Because they're going to have multiplayer. Online co-op, at least. I mean, to say. Because I feel like that would be so much fun. Rest is fun, but you have to find a lower population server to learn on. And yes, the most toxic game I've ever played. 2,000 hours. Wow. I think the game I have the most hours on is PUBG, and that's only 600 hours. Like, it's pretty crazy. And then when I look at, how do I see this? My friends list. Like, I need to look at Erica's Steam profile here. So, let's see. How many hours does she have on Baldur's Gate? 485 hours. That's not too bad. But Sims 3, she has like... Where can I see her games? Like how many hours she has on all games. She has 2,103 hours, but there's a lot of idle time on Sims 3. So, yeah, that's the most time she's spent on a game. Best thing if you're not a giant Zerg, I don't know what that term is to make multiple smaller hidden bases around the map and spread your loot out, because you're bound to get raided. Yeah, I'm just like, it kind of takes the fun out of games when people are like that. Hey Ryder, thanks for coming to say hi. I appreciate it. Not much. We've just been sitting and chatting for this most of the stream, talked about all kinds of stuff. Film industry, Mr. Young, games, comedy, that kind of stuff. Daisy mod for you, roughly 1,000 hours. Let's see, for me. How do I see myself here? You all recently played, and then I go all games. PUBG, 700 hours. Which I haven't played it since November. And even then, I think I booted it up, played one game, and then promptly uninstalled it. Perfect games. Oh. So there's only one achievement. It's a StarCraft term. It was a species that was able to produce a ton of weak units in numbers. Was super strong. Zerg Rush is when you overwhelm someone with it before they can set it up fully. Ah. Just a giant group of players. Okay, I get it now. Thank you for explaining it. Because I was like, should I say this out loud if I don't know what it means? Probably ask myself that question too often. Too bright. There we go. That's better. My eyes are a little less blurry now. I don't know if it's from staring at a screen. Probably. Gonna regret it later, though. Apparently I could have glasses, but my I'm farsighted and my prescription is so low that it doesn't really make a difference. It's more just like comfort if I'm going to be looking at a screen for a long time or if I'm going to be reading a lot. So I'm like, maybe I'll buy glasses, like cheap ones. I don't know. I don't even know if I'd look good in glasses. And tend to be the first players on the server with guns and high tier loot. They're always online, so it's hard to challenge them. That's crazy. Like, is it bots or is it just people who have no life other than playing the game? Which I think I have Rust, actually. But I'm not going to look. I don't care. Yeah, I need to find a like, cause I like playing Fortnite, but it's just like kind of chill friends, play with friends game. But I need to play some more different games, and I guess that's what's really useful about this poll. So it'll kind of force me to play some other games. They will usually have like 30 to 40 people, and have 5 to 7 online at a time. That is crazy. That's a lot of like coordination there. What do I want to do with the rest of my day? I'll have some tea. Yeah, I can't believe this photo. Me and Erica. I wish I knew the date this was taken. Not that it really makes a big difference, but it'd be nice to know. Anyways, I think I'm gonna wrap up the stream here. Sorry it wasn't tea is great. What kind? Okay, I'll talk about tea for a second before I go. I think I'm just gonna have a chamomile tea, but I'm a big tea guy. Yesterday I had this really high quality, great jasmine tea, like a loose leaf tea. And then I need to do that today. I'm gonna order a bunch of tea from my favorite tea shop in my hometown. And I have this really great black tea called Midnight Market, which is like spiced with cinnamon oil and cloves. And it's like, I don't know if they add sugar to it, but it doesn't need anything. Like it's sweet. It's pretty sweet on its own. It might be the cloves because they're called sweet cloves, but it's so good. But yeah, and then I have a ton. I have like literally a huge, like this big, 500-gram bag of mint tea. And when you think about mint tea is like dehydrated mint leaves, that's a lot of tea. 500 grams. It's gonna last me a long, long time. So I have mint tea almost every single day, especially in the evening before bed. But then I'll like kind of blend it. If I got any other herbal teas, I'll kind of do like 1 scoop of mint and then like a couple of scoops of something else, just to like mix it up every once in a while. But I'm gonna order a bunch of different herbal teas and a couple of maybe some black tea. But I have lots of black tea. Lots of black tea and then lots of green tea. I also have a hojicha, a Japanese roasted green tea, which is really good, also loose leaf. Anyways, that'll be my my tea rant for the end of the stream. And thank you guys so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their Sunday. And I will be back, hopefully for sure. Well, maybe not next Sunday. We'll see, because my birthday's on Saturday. I don't know what's going to be happening on that weekend. I'm keeping it kind of open other than a dinner. So yeah, I'll try and stream soon. But have a great rest of your day and evening and night, whatever time zone you're in. Thank you, Ryder. I appreciate it. And take care, everybody. Stay safe. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Hopefully I'll be back before my birthday. Or maybe just after. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day.